Absolute Flash, issue two. Dude, I just want to start by saying that this issue got me a lot more excited for this
It was it
this
was
book.
hella good, dude.
It was really good. Dude, I really liked that scene where he's like he kind of gets a glimpse into the future and it's like,
Yes, and my man or my monster or whatever.
yeah, do that monster
I thought
bit.
that
I
was
was like,
yeah,
oh, it kind of made me think that like we're gonna get little we've already kind of got glimpses like how his powers are really like unstable. So it
yeah,
kind of makes sense why he'd be like afraid of that, you know?
yeah. I
But
Do you think it's more of like a this is we'll see that version of him in the book, or is it like a potential future that he's gonna try to avoid?
I don't know. I feel like it would be cool.
Do you think it's one of those things where he'll try to avoid it, but in trying to avoid it, he accidentally creates it?
Maybe, maybe. I just feel like it would be a little lame if it was just played too safe. Like I kind of would like it to get a little like
Yeah.
we're kind of getting to there, It'd be
I
neat.
mean,
But
another interesting idea I think might be is if he like starts to toe that line into Monster and then he manages to find his way back and he like gets that power under control and becomes the Flash.
no, I mean, that'd be cool because, some of the best character moments are really when like your characters are on their bottom. It's the only
Yeah.
one ways up, only that ways up. So that'd be pretty cool. I was kind of surprised that like his father, Rudy, was there when like the accident happened. I wasn't
Yeah.
like I kind of was like, oh, so there's like kind of more that happened there that like we don't really know. Like,
Right, because now it looks like Barry was alive
yeah, like what
during
when
the
it happened.
accident. Like it didn't kill him. So I'm wondering if it's a little bit more
Dude,
Rudy had something to do with it rather than the accident.
it's just good writing on Lemire's part because we're kind of like while Wally's still trying to process these powers, he's also trying to process that event, and we're kind of
Yeah.
getting it little by little. But
Yeah.
dude, Nick Robles too, like awesome art, like just killed
Killer,
it,
dude.
killed it.
What do you think
Um,
of the rogues in this?
um, I think it's just like the purist in me, like the Flash purist. I'm not really. I mean, I think they look cool, like cool redesigns, but
They're very like impersonal with each other. It seems like it's business first
yeah.
rather than like anything else. Because at least for me, like the rogues in like Prime Earth seem very like tightly knitted. So like they have like relationships outside of just like work.
Well,
You
they
know?
still like bicker, like kind of like this. Like
Yeah, yeah,
they're kind of like making it apparent that there's like a little bit of friction between Trickster and Boomerang. I
yeah,
like the Boomerang design. I think it's pretty neat. Um,
yeah.
I'm not knocking these designs. Like I think it's
They all
cool.
look really good. Yeah,
They made a little reference to Heatwave and
yeah, and
Firestorm,
yeah, Firestorm. I thought
which
that was cool.
my brain immediately kind of like went to like, what if in this universe, Heatwave and Firestorm, because they're both fire based,
Hmm.
what if that's the spin is like they're connected kind of?
Oh, I didn't think about that.
I don't know, just a different take on Firestorm.
Yeah. So
Um,
I saw somebody say maybe it's like all three of them
that'd be kind of cool. It'd be a cool like little twist.
instead of like the two on this side and then the two, later on. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I'm just not the what like my thoughts right now is like I don't really want any more absolute books. Like I think like what they got is like plenty. Like don't
Yeah.
you're gonna do too much. Like and then I think like you're gonna get to the point where you do too much and then like some of these books kind of just like fade away. Because like
Yeah.
I haven't read Absolute Martian Manhunter. I want to check it out,
It's
but
really, really, really good.
yeah, I've heard good things, but it's one of those things. Let me wait for a few issues to pile
Yeah.
up and then I'll check it out.
Like I would say if you're not I'm very much like if Javier Rodriguez does it, I'll probably buy it in single issue.
And
So,
like, well,
hmm?
not only that, but like Dennis Camp has kind of become like
Dennis
a
Camp too.
reliable writer. Like
Yeah. So
it's like
like
you're getting a book.
especially yeah, now with him, with both of them, it's just like an instant buy. But yeah, no, it's definitely worth it. It's really good.
It's kind of like
Um,
neat because it's just like it's a totally different take
yes.
on a character. Not to stray away from Flash, but
No,
like
100%.
that's like kind of the stuff we were talking about last time. Like that's what I want to see more of, kind of, is turn things on their heads. And I hope with this book, I kind of want more of that. Like I don't want to like be like, oh well, like this is kind of similar to Prime Earth. Like no, I want like I think for the first time ever, I'm
Hmm.
okay with them like doing new spins on things.
Yeah. Which is funny because like when they tried this with New 52, not to the same extent, I guess. But like, yeah, I don't know that I was in the same place. Like I was ready for all this new stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I
I I like just to kind of talk about like New 52, I think I was always just such a Wally fan
yeah.
that it was weird for me because I'm like, this is Barry, but it feels like Wally. Like that's what New 52 Flash kind of is. It's like, Barry stories, but Barry's written like Wally. And like he kind of is in that up until Rebirth. And then it's kind of like a thing where it's like, he's Wally's back. So it's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
what do we do with Barry now? And then Barry just becomes sad boy.
right. So it's weird. Like I think we're in the perfect time for something like this. Same with like Absolute Batman. Like I don't know if I would enjoy that nearly as much.
Yeah.
Like I liked Earth One Batman, Jeff
Hmm.
Johns,
Yeah.
but I think like because it was a little bit of a departure in certain areas, like it kind of reinvented a lot of the mythos. I was kind of like, this, like not crazy about it. But I think we're in that period. Maybe it's just like the state of comics where it's like we kind of want
Yeah.
big swings. Like
Yeah,
we're kind of we're okay with Wonder Woman having a huge sword that just doesn't make any sense.
yeah, like it's funny because I think once you get like I don't even know what that threshold is. Like especially even for me. Like when I was able to be like, all right, let's just do something fresh. I think it would be interesting. But I think when you have characters that have been around for 50, 60, 70 years, taking a big swing like this is needed, especially if you're going to bring them into a new audience, if you're going to reinvigorate them for a new era. Like New 52 when it came out, it had some successes, it had some failures, but like I think there was an honest attempt there to at least do something new and different and like try and reinvigorate the characters. It didn't always work. Hell, man, Marvel tried to do it with all new, all different, and even that was like a bit of a flop. But
Which
I
is weird because it doesn't. It seems like
and
well,
that
I
was
just
even still
remember.
that wasn't still in main universe too, which is like
Yeah, I remember with the all new, all different stuff. I knew it wasn't well received. So when at the end of Endgame, when Cap gives Sam Wilson the shield, I'm kind of like, I had people that were asking me, they're like, "Oh, you read comics? Like, where does that go?" That's when the MCU was at like peak
yeah,
hype, and I'm like, well, it's kind of weird because like they're kind of doing something that wasn't well received in the comics. So, like it kind
yeah,
of it didn't last super long. Um, I mean, Sam Wilson's still Captain America, like his own Captain America, but like, you know what I mean?
yeah. But yeah, no, like
So,
because I mean the only reference point you have to compare like something like New 52 with, I mean, or like Rebirth, like would be all new, all different. But like even then, like the Ultimate Universe is not really anything like structured like the New 52, I think. The only thing now that are similar would be the new Ultimate Universe and the Absolute Universe. I feel like those are
yeah,
more closely mirror each other than any of the like reboots, restarts, or fresh starts that Marvel and DC have had in the past. So,
isn't it kind of weird? Like, so when I hear like absolute Batman, when I hear about this absolute universe, like my brain immediately thinks of like those absolute editions.
Yes.
Like, so it's kind of
Yeah,
like
no.
interesting that, I mean, I like the name.
Just wait till we get an absolute Batman.
Dude, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. But
The absolute
it
Batman.
just kind of like, I find like when I'm talking to people about the new Ultimate Universe, like I wish it was called something else but Ultimate Spider-Man, you know? Like I wish it
Yeah.
had a new name because like you kind of have to be like, oh well, Marvel had this old
Well, it's
they
not
they
the
had
old
this Ultimate
one.
Universe. And
Yeah.
now it's like, oh, like, the new Absolute Universe. I find myself keep saying that. Like,
Yeah.
it's very confusing for like a non-comic reader. Like my
Yeah, and then
brother, I'm,
like
I'm trying to keep him like afloat. Like he's like, oh, what's going on? And I'm like, I try to tell him like, well, there's this new Absolute Universe, whatever. And it's
yeah,
like,
my
wow.
my brother's that way because he doesn't really read. Like he's read the first two issues, I think, of Absolute Batman. He hasn't read anything of like the Ultimate Universe, but he'll ask questions about it. So I've just stuck to calling it like Earth 6160 because it's just like trying to like constantly be like, hey, it's not the old one, it's the new one.
Yeah,
So like, and with him, it's easy because he's got like some familiarity with like multiversal designations and all that
yeah,
stuff because he's a gamer. But like, I can't imagine having to explain something like this to nobody that's read comics. You know what I mean?
yeah. I kind of explained it to the fiance in great detail. I was like, she was like, wow, this is a lot. And I'm like, yeah, it's crazy.
It's like sit down, get some chips. We're gonna be here for a minute.
The thing about my brother though, like he reads comics, but like he's like a trade reader. Like and he's reading
Oh,
Batman Nightfall. He has all three of the
okay.
omnibus and he's a slow reader, but he's just
Mhm.
enjoying it. And
Yeah, no, hey, that's the way to do it though.
the way I think of him with comics, I'm like, well, if it's on his radar, then it's got to be making some kind of like boom in the industry
Yeah,
because like I didn't even really tell him about Absolute Batman. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna read this," and I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome," because like
yeah.
for years I kind of like kept him afloat in the like reading comics. Like when we went to the shop still before digital, like I would always picking up his books. I'm like, dude, like
Oh yeah.
I only had like one book and you had like six. Like, and his problem is he just would read too much and he couldn't keep up. So, oh, excuse me. Like he's always like, oh, should I read this? And I'm like, dude, you got a good thing going on. Just keep reading Absolute Batman. Like, don't read Hush 2. Don't worry about Fractions Batman. Like,
Dude.
if you really want to read them, but like you fall into this trap. Like he was reading every Superman book, probably in one of the worst eras of Superman, like Bendis
It's
era and
Superman's
stuff.
great right now too. Like
I know,
Superman's
and
really, really good.
that's something he told me. He was like, it seems like Superman is really good right now. He was like, and I said it to him, it's because you're not reading it. If my brother was reading Superman right now, it'd be awful. Like he has a
Oh,
thing where
do not
whenever
say
he's
that
reading
to
it,
me because I'll fucking drop Superman faster than a
so
speeding bullet.
like whenever he's read Superman, it's been bad. Like,
Jesus, you don't need to read it then. Tell him to stay away right now.
yeah, no, he read like the Bendis era, and he was
Oh
like, dude, this is
no.
so bad. And he was reading the Philip Kennedy Johnson stuff right before it got good.
Oh, the whole stop it.
No, but like he like just kind
Stop
of was
it.
like, I
The
didn't
whole
read it,
thing
so I can't
is
really say
good.
anything.
The whole thing is
But
good.
and I do want to read it, by the way. But it was funny, like he started it and was like, he kind of was like losing interest, whatever.
Oh
And
man.
then when he was done, I was like, dude, people say that that run is really good. And he's
That
like, you're
looked good,
kidding
dude.
me.
It's that looked good.
He was like, you're kidding me. And I'm like, I think it's because you're not reading it anymore. It's good now. So it's a funny little inside joke.
That is funny. That's hella
So
funny.
I've
Tell
told
him
him,
to
I'm
stay
like, dude,
away. Tell him
you
tell him if
can't
he
read
if
it.
he if he gets on it, Dan Moore is leaving, so he can't read it. He has to wait till it's done.
That's another thing too. He was like, dude, like he was like, you're telling me one of the best artists at DC right now is drawing it. I'm like, yeah. He's like, he's just like defeated. He's like, I guess I'm just missing out big time. I'm like, I guarantee you, if you decide to get back in,
It's
he'll
a
be announced he's
tank,
off the book.
bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're switching him with Riley Rossmo.
Yeah. Um,
What do you think about how like the powers are displayed in this book?
In this, like the rogues, or
No, like how his powers, like how that's like kind of like the paneling, like the little squares. It's not like it's less like lightning and more it's kind of like him like the building blocks of him is like fading away.
um,
I just like the how Robles
it's
like
different. It's different.
visualizes like the speed, I guess.
I like how it's not using the lightning and an excessive amount of yellow. Like I
Yeah.
like how it's using red. It's like, and I like how it's like very rectangular. I like that. It's
Yeah,
cool.
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
then like
I feel like because of like, I don't even really know. Well, probably 90s. They started using a lot of the lightning and stuff.
yeah, but there was like the
Um,
streaks and everything before.
but I feel like once you got into New 52 and like especially with what is his name? Carmine
Oh,
Di
D
Giamonico? Is that his
yes.
name?
Yeah, and yeah,
I
that
probably
I
butchered
knew.
that name, but like I feel like the lightning was so
Hey,
excessive at
but
times.
hey, I got you. I knew you were thinking of.
You
I
got me,
agree with
yeah.
you.
And
Yeah.
hopefully people listening, they know
Well,
too.
like another thing, well, it's because you had all the lightning lines on the suit, so it just made it even worse when you had lightning coming out of his everywhere.
Yeah, and maybe
Like,
it's just like also the
I mean, he
CW show.
practically had lightning coming out of his ass cracked in that suit anyway. So it was like,
Yeah, yeah. I I kind of can appreciate like I mean, there still is some lightning, but I like how it's mostly just those lines. It's cool.
I just give me a simple red and yellow suit, bro. Like, I
Yeah,
don't need a whole bunch of extra business. Just make it just straight up red with the yellow accents. I'm cool.
yeah,
Simpler the better. Um, but yeah, dude, I just the fight or like the fight, I guess, with the Rogues was just hella cool, dude. Like to
yeah,
see him like basically just like get like slip away out of each of them was really cool. And then this slide he does, like he phases out of the bubble or whatever.
yeah.
I thought
Oh
that
yeah,
shit was.
it's good.
I was like, all right, this is pretty cool.
It kind of made me think because it's like, oh man, this Wally has no problem facing like
Yeah,
main universe Wally. That was like a whole thing
yeah,
where
like
you know
his whole
stuff would
deal is he couldn't
explode.
do it. Yeah, and then I thought this was really cool too. Like when he makes a break for it, and Lisa's like, I haven't met anything that I can't like can outrun me. And then like before she can even finish that sentence, he just dusts her ass.
Yeah. Oh
He
yeah,
was
it's
like, all
cool.
right, fine then.
It's cool.
Yeah. And then you like he's running away and you get to that double page spread of him in the future and then him as the monster.
Yeah, dude, I loved that. That
Looks
was
so
like that was a moment for me where I was like, oh man, like I'm enjoying this book now. I just hope like I'm kind of wondering like how much of this run is going to be like him being chased by the rogues, because I feel like
yeah, he's on the run for a
stuff
while.
happened in this, but like at
Yeah.
the same time, like not really. Like I
When do
feel
you
like
think we
it's
see him in the suit?
I don't know, maybe 4 or 5.
I could see like maybe by the end of the arc.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Oh, Garrod too. That was a cool thing.
Yeah, that was like the last like the stinger at the end.
Tar Pit. You know what I was thinking about? Like how is Earth Alpha?
Mhm.
Like, was that something that Snyder set up in
Um,
Death Metal?
I if it wasn't set up in Death Metal, it was set up in Infinite Frontier.
It was either like I think it's like a through line of like Death Metal, Infinite Frontier, and then like All In.
Yeah, that's true. Because
Like
you
it's
had like
like
the whole setup for like pretty much everything start in Infinite Frontier because that's when like
yeah.
Wilder was starting to make her little plays here and there.
It's just weird how like Snyder did all that. Like really
Yeah.
did like Death Metal, and I feel like it's been like a while since like it's
No, it's
really
been a
kind
long
of
time since Death, you know.
yeah. And I don't know if it was like intentional or not, but I remember when there was like I think it had to have been an Infinite Frontier. Like there was like talk of this other universe. People were like, "Oh, it's the Marvel universe," you know? But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
obviously not.
because then it was like, yeah, because they had said this whole thing of like, oh well, now there are two Earths that are at the center of the multiverse, and they're the center of of the source and all this other. I don't. They said a bunch of nonsense that probably doesn't even apply anymore.
It's
But
weird how
yeah,
like they like have the multiverse and then they get rid of the multiverse and
well, they
they
still have it, but it's
yeah.
Time Earth is close is like locked off from the rest of it, so they
Mm,
can't explore it. But
yeah, it's
Barry
so back
can
and forth.
still probably do it when he gets his powers back, I'm sure.
Yeah. I didn't read We Are Yesterday yet, but I'm
Yeah,
planning on it.
that's like I got to read that today.
There's certain books that I'm just kind of waiting. Like I've just been busy to the point where it takes me like 2 weeks to read some of the books. If it's not
Yeah,
like Flash or something,
yeah,
that's like, maybe I can wait for Infinite. And the good thing about that is like if you have that tier, you're always 1 month behind. So it's not that if you fall behind a little bit, it's not out of like the realm of possibility. Just be like get caught up and then
yeah,
just buy the latest issue, you know?
yeah, exactly.
The
No,
perks of being a digital reader, I guess.
yeah, except you just have to wait. That's the only problem is you just got to wait a little bit. But if you're not in a
Yeah.
rush, like if like you know, for example, if you're not in a rush to get to it and it's not something you're itching to buy physically, then
Well,
no
like
rush.
Green Lantern Corps and like Aquaman, which is great, by the way.
Those
I
are
can
really
wait
good
a
too.
month for that, you know?
Yeah, those are good. I've been enjoying those.
But, like I've said at nauseum, anything Flash, Batman,
Yeah.
main Green
Yeah.
Lantern, can't wait. I have to
I
read that.
think I'm gonna have to be buying like multiples of this every issue.
Absolute Flash?
Yeah, because I got a variant too.
Well, you're the variant guy, man.
Well, yeah, but it's hard, dude. It's hard out here
Damn.
for a variant. It's hard out here for a variant collector, man. $5 a piece is bullshit.
Um,
I wanted the Virgin variant, but is 1 in 50, and I'm not trying to spend like $50 on it. So it is what it is, I guess.
this one right here,
Yeah, well, it's just like no trade dress at the top corner.
I think it's the next issue. There's a cover I really liked. Oh, it's this one. I love this issue, this cover.
Oh yeah. I think the artist is doing like a run of covers for the book, I think. I think he's doing all the incentives for the next several issues. Maybe not. Maybe I'm a liar.
You're a liar. Oh, no, I think he did this cover.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it's cool. Um, but yeah, this issue and like the stuff with Grodd at the end. I mean, based on like kind of future covers, solicitations, it kind of seems like Grodd in this universe is going to be his buddy, which I like because it's something
Yeah.
different. Um, and that's gonna be kind of neat. Like I like the look. I think it's gonna be cool.
What do you think the relationship is going to consist of? Like him helping Wally how to control his powers, maybe?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of that. I don't know. I'm kind of a sucker for like did you ever play like Jack and Daxter when you were younger?
Yes. I
Like it
hated
kind of gives me that
hated Jack
vibe
and
where it's
Daxter.
like little buddy.
Hated Jack and Daxter.
You hated it? Oh, dude. Those are some great
I
games too,
love
guys.
Ratchet and Clank though.
Never played it,
Oh, dude. Yeah, Ratchet and Clank was my jam.
but I love Jack and Daxter. I love those games. So much fun.
I see that vibe though with Jack and
Yeah,
Daxter more here than the other two.
something about the little companion kind of like it's
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah. No, I agree. It'll be cool.
Um,
Um, what do you think was going to be the deal with Barry? Is he actually going to be dead, or you think it's going to be like a two timelines kind of thing?
I think he's dead.
We're just going to have to figure out how he gets there, I guess.
I think like Rudy like killed him, and I think Wally's still processing it, kind of,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
kind of like,
I think so
"Whoa,
too.
what's going on? Like this is nuts."
Yeah. And so, but instead of like, or he doesn't remember and he thinks he is to blame and he's the one that killed him.
Right.
Or his dad is putting that on like, hey, you did this. This is your fault.
Yeah, and I think it's just like, I think the theme of this book, like what we're going to see a lot is just like
Yeah.
anxiety, you know, and
I
like
and I really, really liked how
trauma.
it's displayed. Like it's paired really well, like his abilities with his anxiety and how like he feels like he's just fractured and it and that feeds into his like kind of like his ability to look at these different points in time in the past when he's with his dad and his mom, or when he's here, or when he's in the future and he sees two different versions of himself. Like I've never really had a big like for me, for example, like anxiety is not really something that I deal with, but I imagine to feel like that sense of like flightiness, and not being it here in the present and not feeling like grounded. I imagine that that's a pretty accurate representation,
Yeah. No, it's
because
fair.
like if you like when I look at other books that kind of tackle themes like that, like Immortal Hulk or you know, Moon Knight, other like mental health kind of stuff, not that that's the same as anxiety, but like when books tackle like stuff like that, I think it's always interesting to see how it's visually displayed, one, but also like how it's baked into the story.
Yeah,
Because
no, for sure.
because comic I've never really thought about that, but comics can be a pretty good vehicle for telling stories like that. Because you have the added benefit of being able to visually express how a character feels in those moments, as opposed to just like having to basically like word vomit your way through it on in a novel.
Yeah, well, like look at like some of the best comics. Like if you really strip it down, water it down, it's human stories. Those are the
Yeah,
best ones, you know, because it's relatable. I
yeah.
mean, it's just good storytelling, man, you know.
And Lemire is a good storyteller. That's just nothing else to be said except that.
No, and I honestly like sorry for completely doubting you because this has been like two issues in and I'm like hooked.
You
I'm like,
never
this
doubt
is
me,
good.
bro.
Yeah.
Are
So
you reading JSA by him?
no, I'm not.
It's okay. I know it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Some people aren't enjoying it just because they don't really like the cast, which whatever. He's really focused like I think he's really piggybacking off of the new Golden Age stuff, which if you're gonna create those characters and you're gonna build that up, from DC's perspective, and you're not gonna let Jeff Johns do it because you just can't have a healthy relationship with him at work,
Yeah.
pass it to somebody else. Like let another Jeff handle it, and they did. So
I feel like with me when it comes to the JSA, it's kind of like I feel the last few years, it's like they're kind of forcing it. Like, oh, these characters, they're still
Well,
relevant. And
yeah,
like
because
my
there's this,
brain always is
they
just like they're in the
returned
past.
again, and they still return, and then they're
Yeah.
returning in 6 months, and then they'll return a year from now. And it's like, if they're always
Yeah.
returning, they never really left. Like, like it's
Yeah.
kind of like, it's weird because if you're constantly reintroducing them, but they never really went anywhere, what the hell are you doing?
I just feel like the way I think of it is like the Justice Society is the past and like, you know, the present, it's the Justice League. And I feel like with Justice League Unlimited, like this is the time, like just you don't need the JSA. Like they're all part together. Like or maybe just come up with a new name. This is the new team. We're all together, you know?
Yeah.
I just feel like, you know, there has to be a point where you kind of just move on because like I
But
feel like
what about the situation where we have like they almost seem like an ancillary team, you know what I mean? Not necessarily like the main, like they are still kind of in the past, but they're
yeah,
like reserve, I guess. So I think it's one of those things where it's almost like they can operate independently, like in the way that the Titans do, and handle their own problems, their own villains, their own messes, but they're still a part of the Justice League when it counts. And if they need to tap in over there, they will.
you know, I didn't even realize there's still a Titans book. Just kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I haven't been reading it.
Yeah. And I love the Titans, so it's kind of like, damn,
Nightwing is good though.
is it damn waters?
Yeah, give it a
Yeah.
shot, dude. It's good
Okay.
stuff.
But
Batman
going
Dark
back to
Patterns, best
the
Batman book
Justice
on Standard
Society.
Banner.
Oh yeah, that's on my radar. I'm
That
gonna go
shit's
check that out.
good, dude. It's really good.
Everyone's kind of I've seen people online say like, "Wow, it's all these side books are better
It
than the main books," you know?
Yeah, Dark Patterns feels like Legends of the Dark Knight from back in the day.
That's the vibe I'm getting. But
Yeah, so if
just
you like slightly supernatural and like detective eerie Batman, which I think is the Batman for me, it's literally 10 out of 10, dude.
shit.
And that's coming from someone that doesn't give that much of a shit about Batman.
I know you're kind of a Batman hater.
I'm coming around, dude. I'm coming around.
Um,
Good.
but yeah, I don't know. The Justice Society, like I just kind of am like, I'm kind of over the attempts. I think that just Jeff Johns book that was before, like, and especially because that got delayed. I think it was kind of the last
It
straw
was
for
another
me.
Doomsday Clock situation with that book, dude, because it literally took like 2 years for them to release 12 issues. It was ridiculous. And that
Um,
they not to like complain about it for too much longer, but like they really did absolutely nothing with those characters, bro. John was just spinning his wheels, and we got nowhere with like the actual plot of the new Golden Age, those Stargirl and the Lost Children, and then there I swear there was supposed to be some Flashpoint Beyond stuff that was supposed to tie into JSA also, which ended up never happening. And the last issue just was like a this is my love letter to these characters because DC said I gotta go bye bye. Like it was, I liked it and it was nice, but it was kind of like a I'm gonna be a crybaby and write my way out of this.
well, I feel like I kind of,
I love Jeff Johns. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
great
Oh yeah.
writer, but that situation with JSA and him in DC, it just got worse. And it was like, all right, dude, you should have just been like out years ago. You should have been out a few years ago, I think.
Like you could just kind of tell like there was a turning point where it was like, yeah, Jeff's done with DC. And you could kind of almost like tell in the writing of some of the probably that story
Yes.
in
Yeah.
particular that it's like this relationship's gone sour and kind of like back and forth, like you don't really want to set anything up, but you just don't know really
Yeah.
like where to go with
But
it.
you're still like committed to like the stuff that you've been doing for so long, I guess.
That being said though, dude, Geiger is like probably my favorite book right now. Like I love Geiger.
Dude, it's
I
been
love
so
Geiger.
much. I mean, it was good before, but now that Joe's back, it's fucking awesome, dude.
Oh, it's so good. I've kind of gotten I'm a little behind on Redcoat. I finished
It's
that
okay.
first arc and I'm
It's
kind of
fine.
like
Um,
I finished the first arc and I'm like,
that was what, the first 7 issues, right?
yeah, and like I haven't read beyond that, and I'm like,
Um, 8, 9, 10. It was Johnny Appleseed was one. It's they've been just kind of like one-off adventures. You had Johnny Appleseed in one, you had Annie Oakley in another. And I think the next one they're introducing that Northerner character.
yeah,
So that'll be like the next kind of big two-part arc for the unnamed and all that stuff.
yeah. I'm kind of I love Jeff Johns, but Brian Hitch, I have just such a love-hate relationship with that guy.
Dude, I just it's and here's the craziest part is I think Red Coat is the best his art has ever looked, and I still don't like it. I still don't like it that much.
Yeah, I mean, you can I like that there's definitely a passion with it. I feel like it's definitely one of those books that could have came out like in 2021, but
Yeah.
I think it's
Well, it
because
was
they,
supposed to
yeah,
because it kept being teased at the end of the first volume of Geiger, and then it was like coming out in like 6 months or whatever. And I was like, all right, cool, this will be cool to follow
yeah.
along with. And then it never happened.
I can kind of appreciate it because it does feel like
Yeah,
this is not a
I
rush
wonder
book.
if it was like Johns and Hitch saying like, well, if we're gonna do a universe, we may as well just wait. Let me polish it up a little bit, and then we can say, look what we've got.
Yeah.
Because I think the Northerner was something that was gonna be. I swear I remember seeing something about him too, like really early on when it was still Mad Ghost and not Ghost Machine.
Yeah, it was teased early on, and I think of that first timeline. But
Um, Are you reading those other books? Not just Redcoat, but you're still reading Exodus or Rook Exodus, right?
No, I'm not reading that. I
You're
only
not?
read the first
Okay, is that
issue.
only read the first issue?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those books where I'm kind of
I was not fully on board until the like literally the last page of the first arc.
it looks cool, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
definitely one
been
of those things where I'm gonna wait, kind of. I want
yeah,
to
I
read it
would
all.
yeah, I would say wait and trade or read it in full. But I'm still reading all of them. Like I'm reading Hyde Street as well.
There's too
It
many books, man. Too many
it's
books.
okay. It's okay. I would say if there's a lot better horror books out there.
I watched an interview with them recently when they were kind of just saying like, oh, we want to go back into the horror roots like Blackest Night, you know?
And I don't think it's bad by any means, but it's very like cookie cutter. Like this is horror stuff that was being done by other writers probably over a decade ago. Like it's just your very like monster of the week. All of these kind of malicious entities exist, co-inhabit this area, and they're all fighting for the souls of humanity. Like it's like there's kind of like an overarching plot in it, but for the most part, it's just each issue is a different. Like you're visiting a different resident of High Street and how they take souls. Um,
Interesting.
Hornsby and
I
Halo is pretty cool.
I just feel like I'm really well right now I'm really only interested in like the unknown. Um,
Yeah, there's just not a
are they
lot
called the
happening in
unknown?
the others. They're good comics. There's just not a lot happening in them. Like Hornsby and Halo, I think is cool, but that's just your kind of your coming of age story comic book where, you know, half angel, half devil kids learning that their true potential is something more and that they're from these other realms and there's war and it's cool. It's fine. That's the Tomasi and shoot, I forgot who's on art for that. But yeah, it's Tomasi doing that. Um Same with Rockefellers is good too. I really enjoy
Yeah, I've heard good
Rockefeller.
things
I
about
think
that.
that's really good. And that's Manipool and Tomasi as well.
Well, hey man, I think we covered Absolute Flash, the big points.
Oh wait, there was one question I had. Let me hold on.
Yeah,
There was one question I had, and you saying that was it reminded me. Let me see if I can find the page. Um, if Barry is not dead in one of these timelines or one of these worlds, do you think he becomes an enemy to Wally?
I did think about that. I kind of was thinking,
You
maybe,
think he's like the reverse Flash or like you know what I mean?
well, maybe on that full page spread, if the other side, if that's not Wally, maybe that's Barry.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
Like he's not seeing it, like he's seeing it as himself, not necessarily realizing that it could be Barry. I
right.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's not then it technically doesn't need to be two tomorrows or two worlds. You still get your flashes,
Oh yeah.
both flashes.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like like, you know, both time, both prophecies, I guess, come true kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that'd be pretty neat if they did that.
That would be cool too. I didn't think about that.
But
Well, shit, you answered that way better than I thought you.
what did you expect I was gonna say?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like I had no idea. So when you were dropping the whole like it could be Barry, I'm like, oh shoot, you're right. I was so set on it maybe being like a monster version of Wally that I was like, all right, cool.
I think that's like the difference with, this book compared to like the main Flash book is like
Yeah.
I'm I just feel like there's a lot they read really quick.
Yes.
Like this issue read fast, but there's just a lot of like room, little things, even like just stuff on a singular page where like it's digestible to the point where I'm like, huh,
Yeah.
Where's this going?
Do you I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I kind of want them to play it out a little bit longer.
What do you
You know
mean?
what I mean?
Like,
Like write out like a year, and then we kind of get to the climax of this whole Clash of Two Worlds deal.
I mean, I think I'd be willing to bet that like there's a chance that that could be Barry, that other Flash, or
That
the
would be
other
cool,
that
dude. That would be
monster.
really cool.
But who
I
knows?
didn't even think.
I don't know.
See, I
You
was
know,
so set on him being like a reverse Flash or playing like a kind of like a more direct role and not necessarily like this monster in the darkness kind of thing. But
yeah,
yeah, no, that's I like that idea too.
yeah,
We're just here for the ride, man. I keep saying that for Spurrier's Flash, but this seems like a much more fun ride to be on.
yeah. Well, it's exciting, man. I mean, I'm just happy that there's just like two Flash books that like are
Yeah.
and not being like in the same world, like
Yeah,
universe.
that's a good point because I mean, and they're both Wally, so we're kind of winning a lot.
Yeah. Well, hey man, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, of course,
Appreciate you taking the time as always. Um,
of course, sir. Anytime.
and looking forward to the next one, man. We got a lot to
Yeah,
look
which will
forward
be
to
in
with
like
this.
sooner because we're doing with Flash issue 20, right?
Yeah, yeah. Is that next week?
So you'll be seeing us a whole lot more, everybody.